Good morning, adventure lovers, scout lovers, people interested in bush Alaska, rural Alaska. I'm Jeff, and today we're going to try to get my Scout running. If you've been following the channel some, you know that a couple years ago I pulled a Scout 800 out of Anchorage, pulled it down the frozen Kuskokwim River to Bethel, Alaska, and got it running. Last spring I retired and moved to Virginia and tucked the Scout away in the yard of the house that we used to own here, and the new owners agreed to let me leave it there. But I'm back, got in last night, and we're going to go see how the Scout fared 10 months buried in the snow. Well, it wasn't buried in the snow the whole 10 months, but here's a photo that they sent me about a month ago of the Scout. So I'm staying here at my buddy Joe's place. It is spring, what they call breakup in Alaska. Breakup in Alaska is when several feet of snow turn into a couple feet of mud. This is his driveway here. And there is what you would call a classic Bethel beater. A friend of ours is letting my buddy Joe borrow it because he just sold his truck, and now I'm borrowing it, and I'm going to drive over and let's see how the Scout survived. Alrighty, so here we are in the classic beater with the heater that apparently the key thing never, there we go, we finally got to stop. So yeah, this is my buddy's car. You know, you have your classic stapled plastic. Transmission's a little wonky, but it starts. So, cruising out on the great roads of Bethel. Bethel is the hub of the YK Delta. YK stands for Yukon Kuskokwim. Those are the two rivers that surround us. The roads are, let's just say, soft, full of potholes, especially in the spring during breakup. So a perfect place for a beater with a heater. I lived here for about 20 years. I just moved last spring. And the only thing I have left, other than a bunch of friends, is a 69 International Scout 800 that I'm going to go try to start today. Like I said, it's been sitting for about 10 months. I had the engine rebuilt about a year and a half ago. Got started last fall and tucked it away for the winter. So the goal for the next 2 or 3 weeks is to get it packed up, running, get some shorter wheels on it so that I can get it onto a jet and fly it from Bethel, Alaska into Anchorage, Alaska. Our hope was to get on the road and drive through Canada down to the lower 48, but Canada hasn't opened up yet, and so that doesn't look like it's going to really work out for us. But at least if I can get it out of Bethel and into Anchorage, I'll be ready next year to do it. Or I've considered taking it on the ferry system down southeast Alaska and along the coast down to Washington. That's about $4,500, and I'm not sure if I want to invest that after spending $4,000 to get it flown from this town into Anchorage. Or $4,000, I guess is my hope. We'll see. Bethel does have one paved road. Not the best road in the world, but certainly not too bad. They did a little repaving last year, I think. And this part's in pretty good shape now. There's our one wind turbine out in the distance. And in Bethel, four-wheelers are a big part of the transportation system, as you can see here. So with luck, he'll look over his left shoulder if he decides to come across. So like I was saying, this is breakup in Alaska. Everything is dusty and dirty, and the grass hasn't turned green and the leaves haven't really popped out yet, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks the beauty of this place will start showing back up. So here we are in Blueberry subdivision, where I spent about 15 years, raised 3 boys. And the house we own is way down at the end of this road. And that is where my Scout's at. Nugget. We call it Nugget. We call it Nugget because it's brown, like a moose nugget. Things haven't changed much in a year. They did have a huge winter this year, so the people we sold the house to had to have a front-end loader come and dip the snow out of the driveway, I think a couple of times this year, because they just had snow after snow after snow. Down at the end of the road. See the blue roof in the distance? Let's see how it turned out. Well, there it is. It is there. Doesn't look like it got hit, stolen. Looking good. Tucked away nicely there along my shed. Looks a little like it had a little more of a lean. But maybe the tires have sunk in the ground. I don't know. We'll check it out. Classic Bethel car. So we have our staples, and to get out of the car you actually have to put your key back in the ignition. I forgot about this. Lower your window. It just adds more excitement to the whole process, and I'll open it from the outside because well, it's a beater. Okay, let's check out the Scout. All right, let's see how the old girl fared. All the tires, the air in these tires have been in there like 20 years. Interior looks pretty good. A little dusty. Back looks okay. Gotta get my tarp off. Let's see. Alrighty. The reveal. See any major problems. I forgot and left this in here. Shouldn't have. I don't think that's supposed to freeze, but oh well. All my things in the back. Here's my spare transmission that I'll be traveling with. That is my wife's quilt hanger and a piece of baleen that I've got to try to get through Canada or ship it down with my buddy. I think I will. That'll work. Yeah, don't see any like evidence that big snow piled up inside. So I think we're all right, at least physically. Now let's get the rest of this thing off and get my battery in it. All right, the top is off. Let's see how the engine fared. We did have a lot of snow this year. I'm a little worried that the hood area would all fill up with snow because it just blows in, and clearly it did blow dust in. It doesn't, there's dust, but I don't see the telltale signs of snow drifting. So I think we're okay. We'll get this thing going, check it out. I got the battery in. I got the cables hooked up. Kept the battery in my buddy's house until I got back. And it was charged good when I left. I don't remember which side's which. The big one is the negative phone. Kept it in my buddy's house, so it should have a little charge in it. I got a booster pack to stick on it if it doesn't. See my fancy gas tank there. I pulled the saddle tanks out of the 800 last fall, and they're at my buddy's house where I'm staying. And this week I'm going to refurbish those or reseal those up with the Pour 15 epoxy kit. Online you see lots of mixed reviews about it, but I'll tell you, I've done it to 2 other tanks. I've never had any trouble. If you take time to follow the directions, use good hot water, and don't, really clean it super well. I've got one in a tank, and I'm not positive it was Pour 15, but it was definitely the epoxy stuff. And I did it 21 years ago, and it's still not leaking, working good. On another 800 that I have. So we're hooked up. Let's give it a try. So clearly the battery just doesn't quite have enough punch to start it. So we're going to try the jumper pack that I have. There we go. Negative. Okay. I think green means go. All right, starter fluid it is. All right, well, just in case it's the speed of the crank that is really not giving me enough to get it started, I've got the jumper cables, and we'll let it charge a bit and see what happens. And then I'll go get some starter fluid. Okay, it's been running for a little bit. Let's give it another try. Choke pull. Fluid saves the day. I still think the gas was a little funky. A lot of smoking. Boom! That's all she needed. A little starter fluid and maybe a little better charged battery but start right up, purring like a kitten. So I think we're good. I gotta get the insurance turned on. I had it idling there for a bit. The brake fluid was a little low. I can see under there, you can see, well, I don't know if you can, but it's a little moisture on my wheels. I'm thinking leaky wheel cylinder or something. Maybe it's kind of let go, but I've got a kit. There we go. First run in 10 months. All that with circled block. Good power. Gotta remember which way to have the overdrive. I think that's low, not high. No speedometer yet. Amps seem to be working. Oil pressure works. Water temperature seems to be working. Fuel level does not work, but, well, the fuel tanks are laying in my buddy's yard. There you go, folks. Well, it is on the road and running along. If you like and you're interested in following along with us, be sure and like and subscribe. In the coming weeks, we're going to get this thing roadworthy, get her packed up, get her on a jet, and fly her to Anchorage. So follow along. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.